Welcome to Keeping Tabs. I'm Tabitha Croc, and every Monday, I talk to someone here in North Idaho with the goal to connect more people in the Coeur d'Alene area. And then every Friday, I talk to someone outside the community to bring in a new perspective and to learn a little bit about yourself. Good morning, and I have Cory Voss with me, and he is someone I got to got nominated by my cousin to do this podcast, and I am so excited to learn a little more about you. So if you mind, tell us a little bit about you, a little bit about your baseball background as well.
Yeah, so I'm from Pueblo, Colorado. For those of you guys that don't know, Pueblo, Colorado is 2 hours south of Denver, southern Colorado. I played baseball for 4 years in college. Got drafted out of high school by the Rockies. I actually went to 4 different schools in 4 years. I think that's actually a really, really important part of knowing my baseball experience. I graduated in 4 years after going to 4 different schools, so that's probably my biggest accomplishment. But yeah, I was a Division I, freshman All-American. Got drafted again later on in college by the Nationals. Played in the Cape Cod Baseball League, top 300 players in the country. So I actually played Division I baseball, junior college baseball, NAIA baseball. That's where I met Guy and everybody in Lewiston. So been all over the globe, Alaska to the Cape, and learned a lot of things and played baseball at a very high level. Was extremely successful. Currently, I moved back to my hometown, and we do not have any indoor baseball, and in Colorado, as you can imagine, that's extremely important. So, it was hard for me to come home and visit my family without an indoor baseball facility to train at. So a big goal of mine was to, give these kids something that I never had. So about 6 months ago, I'd say we opened up a brand new state-of-the-art indoor baseball facility called the Pueblo Baseball Mill. And that actually opened in January. So that's what I've been doing for the last 6 months. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I was kind of looking through your social media and stuff, and that's really cool. I know you've made an impact on Guy and many kids like that. So I know that's super important to have role models and something, sport outlets. But how has the quarantine and the stay-at-home order affected you in, obviously 6 months? It's not that long ago. So how's that affected what you're doing?
Yeah, so pre-quarantine, I originally started my business in somebody's backyard. He had a cage in his backyard. I was doing individual lessons there, ended up, getting together with a group of kids, outgrew that place. We have an old meat packing plant here in Pueblo. A guy had 2 cages down there. So I, was down there for a little while. Finally in January, breakthrough, build my own facility. We have 3 cages, a bullpen, plug wall area. It was awesome, and here I am, 24 years old, just started my own business, super excited about it. We were seeing over 200 kids a week. I mean, it was incredible. It was more than anything I could have ever asked for, and January, February, March, and then at the end of March, we get shut down, brand new business. So obviously this whole coronavirus quarantine has been, terrible to say the least, especially for, business owners or people like myself, not being able to work with these kids. Obviously not making money is a terrible situation. But for me, we were making such great headway with these kids, especially these high school kids, these high school seniors. This was their last opportunity to get a college scholarship, play their senior year. So, it was an absolutely terrible situation. So, if you know anything about me, obviously I'm not a negative guy. So I look at everything in the positive. And, when this first hit, it actually was an opportunity for me to do something that I had the idea to do, but I didn't really have the confidence to do it. So I'm at home, nobody can go anywhere. And so I actually got in the facility. I made 30 some videos, instructional videos, and I've been, kind of revamped my Instagram page. And so, yeah, that was kind of, my first positive out of this whole quarantine thing was actually having the confidence to get on and and share some of my knowledge. Instagram, social media is king when it comes to baseball instruction. So, and then the second thing that it's allowed us to do is, in this last month we've been going outside. They finally let us go outside with 10 kids or so, and being outside has really showed me that I like to win baseball games. I think when you're in a facility, you're talking about hitting, you're talking about throwing, but like winning a game or the details that go into a baseball game don't really show up in a facility. So being outside, teaching these kids how to run bases, teaching them how to, have proper catch play. So that has actually sparked an idea that I'm going to, put together a fall baseball team. That's when you get recruited in high school baseball is in the fall. And we're going to travel the country. We're going to go to Arizona, Texas, Utah, New Mexico. So, quarantine is as terrible as it's been has, allowed me to get creative and reach more people through my social media, and actually have the idea to, once this is all over, put together a really good fall team of some of the best kids in Southern Colorado and play some of the, other best kids across the country. So it's been terrible, but actually it's sparked a lot of really good ideas as well.
Yeah, I think that's super important. We hear all the negatives of the coronavirus and staying at home. And you've used the opportunity to really build the content, which I think this is perfect for right now, is building content. And so you're doing a great job. What do you miss most about the stay-at-home order? Outside of baseball, what do you miss most?
Oh, geez. Baseball for me has always just kind of been a vehicle, I mean, I love baseball. I loved hitting home runs and all that cool stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just the ability to touch somebody's life and give them the confidence maybe that they didn't have on their own. And so, just a distinct memory off the top of my head is, we're in the facility and I kicked these kids' butts, and it was a tough day and they're sweating long hours. And this kid comes up to me, everybody left. It was like, 10:15 at night or something. And this kid's like, hey, look, you really changed my life. I made the baseball team. I didn't think I was going to make the baseball team. Like, he was a freshman in high school, never, wasn't a star player or anything, and kind of like broke down. I hugged him. And so I think moments like that are like really what I miss, outside of baseball, just being with the guys, being with the kids every day, seeing the look on their face when they, their hard work finally pays off. So the physical interaction, I'm real big physical guy. I'm always giving high fives and stuff like that. So not being able to be with the kids and really, pumping them up, giving them that confidence. It's bigger than baseball. I tell them all the time, you're going to be a regular human being a lot longer than you're going to be a baseball player. So, be a good human being, take the trash out for your mom. I'm always telling them stuff like that. So the physical, teaching these boys how to be good men, that's probably what I miss the most. And then that's what I think that's what everybody's really looking forward to, is just getting back to a little bit of normalcy. And the physical thing is something that, you go to the grocery store, I feel like I'm robbing the place wearing a mask, and you can't get close to people. So the physical, human beings we're very physical in nature. And so I think, that's what everybody's missing during this time.
I agree. So what's your favorite band or favorite type of music?
Oh, geez. I grew up on like Van Halen, Def Leppard. My dad was like super into rock. So, that definitely has a place in my heart. But if I had to like pinpoint, music that I'm listening to daily, it's, Mac Miller's my guy. When I was in middle school, Mac Miller was coming up. He was young like us, and so he was somebody that I was very drawn to. And then recently I listened to a lot of Russ. Russ is like I don't know, he's not really a rapper. He has some really unique music, and he actually came out with a book. I love to read, and he came out with a book, and that book really made me like him even more. So, it's kind of like, chill music. I was never like a big pump up guy when I played, so I just wanted to kind of relax. And so, Mac Miller, Russ, music like that. I'm a huge country fan. I lived in Texas for a year, so my music is kind of all over the place, but those are my two guys, my two go-tos for sure.
Awesome. And favorite restaurant, well, I guess favorite food. I wouldn't know your restaurants in your town, but yeah, your go-to restaurant.
Oh, geez. So I'm missing Lewiston, Idaho. I mean, I guess technically the restaurant's in Clarkston, but there's a place called Saute. When I lived in Lewiston, it was about 5 minutes from my house. And I mean, really, what it was like this private like chef or something, and he like just pretty much made whatever he felt like making: salmon, steak, ravioli. Um, like it was bruschetta. It was incredible. You know, something that my favorite food, my favorite restaurant, I guess, is something that you can eat with a glass of red wine. So that's that place is pretty incredible. And every time I go back to, I like to make a trip back to Lewiston every year for the World Series. Obviously, this year we're not going to be able to do that, but yeah, that's my favorite type of food. Something that you can have with a glass of red wine. And Saute in Clarkston, Washington is for sure my favorite place of all time. Everywhere I've ever been, Alaska, I've had salmon, I've had sushi, I've had the Cape. You know, you get lobster rolls, but you know, Lewiston and Saute is for sure my favorite place of all
Oh,
time.
good to know. I've never been there, and I lived down there for a little bit. So, um,
Yeah, I don't know if it's a newer spot but you'll definitely have to check it out. It's pretty incredible.
that sounds amazing. So I know you're younger, but what would you give a one piece of advice you would give a younger you?
Oh, geez. Um, so I go live on Instagram every Thursday, and I was talking about this last Thursday, like 10 high performance habits. And you know, as I'm reading over this list that I created, I'm like, geez, I wish I would have done some stuff like this, you know. So a younger me, you know, and I I mean, I even try to tell myself this on the day to day, but I think a younger me wanted it all right now. You know, I wanted to be, when I was 16 years old, I wanted to be playing for the Red Sox. Why am I not at Fenway Park yet? You know, and so I think if I was to tell myself, you know, a younger me, a piece of advice, like hustle. I say this all the time: hustle in the micro. You know, like hustle day to day. Be very be very diligent in your work day to day, but have patience in the long term. You know, so the quote would be: hustle in the micro, patience in the macro. So hustle every single day, but understand that, you know, nothing's going to happen overnight. And you know, and especially here now that I'm owning my own business, I'm sitting here going, geez, you know, why don't we have 10,000 square feet, multiple locations? So I'm just constantly having to remind myself, you know, yes, hustle day to day, it's super important, but patience is really key. Patience and persistence, and knowing that, you know, what your day to day actions, that they're gonna pay off in the future. So a younger me, I would just tell them to, you know, slow down a little bit, have a little bit more patience. That you know, you overestimate what you can do in a year, and you underestimate what you can do in 12 years, you know. So that would be patience for sure, is something that I'm still working on, and that a younger me could have used as well.
So what is your you were saying that, you know, there's long-term plans. What is something like, what is your, I guess, dream of what you're building? What is the long-term goal with this?
Yeah, so initially it's like a baseball facility, and it's very surface level. Like, yeah, I'm coming to learn how to hit, but you know, on a long term, I'm trying to impact as many lives as I can. I'm trying to touch as many lives as I can. Not obviously, I'm starting here with my own community. I feel very passionate about that. But you know, long term, it would be something where, you know, you can hop on your phone, and if you're having a rough day, you know, maybe it's something mental that we get across to you. Maybe it's something that you guys or somebody's dealing with, you know, in their personal life. And I don't want it to be just a baseball platform. So, you know, yes, it's going to be a baseball platform. You're going to go on my social media or anything that I produce in the future, and you're going to learn some high level baseball techniques. But ultimately, you know, it's building confidence, it's building self-esteem, and understanding that, you know, baseball is a very short window, and that, you know, you're going to be a father someday. You need to be a good son. And what happens when, you know, you get fired? What happens when you lose the house? What happens when, you know, so being resilient, being uncommon. And so that's kind of where we're going in the future. Technology is obviously going to be a huge part of that. I have a lot of really good ideas as to what I want to do. I kind of don't want to spoil it. I feel like it's a really good idea, but it's going to be something that's I think more tailored towards the youth. The dad maybe that gets off work is super passionate about his son and is coaching his team and wants to just grab his phone and find some drills or find some talking points, and that's what we're going to offer to him, and he's going to go out and put on a really good practice and help those boys turn into men and lead some good families someday. So that's ultimately what our goal is, and it's bigger than baseball for sure.
That's amazing. So leave us with one piece of a positive advice. Starting to know it's rough right now. We're all struggling in one way or the other. Leave us with one piece of advice you could give to anybody that's watching right now.
So I played at LC State. Incredible program. It's a very, very blue collar program. No, nothing fancy about it. No names on the back of the jerseys. We had one jersey. We spray painted our cleats black. I mean, it was intense. And we showed up there every single day, and we got our butts kicked, running 5 miles, practicing early in the mornings, practicing late at nights, traveling 20-hour bus rides, getting out, having to play 4 games, getting back on the bus. It was something different than I had ever experienced before. And I think when I got to LC State, I was 210 pounds. And then I weighed myself by accident or something midway through the year. I was 185 pounds. I was in the best shape of my life. It was incredible. And after every practice, Jeremiah Robbins, our head coach, he said, continue the fight. And we'd never break it down like warriors or anything. He would just say, all right, continue the fight. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And, that was something I'd lay in bed at night and be like, yeah, man, continue the fight. No matter what is going on, no matter what crazy thing he's going to put us through, we're just going to continue the fight. And really that's all we can do. And that's what I'm doing here. There's a bunch of negatives. My business is shut down. We're not able to meet with anybody, but we're just going to continue the fight. So, if anybody's listening, if anybody's going through some hard times, that would be my message, is just to continue the fight.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you so much for taking time today. And I'll tag him in here if you want to reach out to him, have any questions about baseball and connect. So thank you again and have a great day.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to Keeping Tabs. I'm Tabitha Crock, and every Monday I release a podcast about different community members here in North Idaho. And then we end the weeks on Fridays with a podcast about the things I'm passionate about: outdoors, adventures, sports, the van life, and even current events. So if you like what you heard, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube, Spotify, or iTunes. Thank you again. Now go be kind and do something great.